Hello and welcome to Timeless Storia. Here we share soothing bedtime stories to help you relax, clear your mind, and drift gently into sleep. Think of it as your nightly escape into mystery, history, and inspiring tales, told in a calm, relaxing way to ease your stress and bring peace before you rest. Imagine yourself awakening in the soft, gray light of a medieval village morning. The sun has not yet fully risen, and the world is quiet, wrapped in a gentle stillness that seems to hold its breath. The air carries a cool, earthy scent, the subtle aroma of damp clay, straw, and morning dew settling over the fields and cottages. You rise slowly from a simple, straw-filled mattress, the bedding soft yet firm beneath you, pressed to your back from the warmth of night. The cottage is modest, with walls of timber or wattle and daub, and a thatched roof that creaks slightly as the wind brushes past. Your movements are measured and deliberate, taking care not to disturb the quiet that pervades the small room. Stepping outside, the village awakens around you with gentle sounds. Cattle low softly in nearby pens, chickens rustle in their coops, and the faint rhythmic pounding of water against wooden troughs marks the early chores of others. Smoke curls lazily from distant chimneys, carrying with it the faint aroma of breakfast preparations, soaked porridge, bread baking in communal ovens, perhaps the aroma of herbs simmering quietly in pots. You begin your morning tasks with slow precision, carrying water from a nearby well. You notice the texture of the cool, smooth stone under your hands, the weight of the pail balanced carefully as you walk along muddy paths softened by the night's dew. Each step requires awareness, not urgency, a gentle dance between balance and care. Returning home, you attend to the animals, feeding chickens scattered across the yard, brushing the coarse hair of a cow or goat, adjusting hay in a stall. Your hands sense the textures, the faint warmth of the animals, and the subtle differences in each creature's coat. These interactions, though simple, are immersive and grounding, creating a rhythm that echoes throughout the village morning. The scent of the earth and straw mingles with the faint smoke from the hearth, and you notice the soft patter of a cat moving quietly across the floor, a companion to your solitary tasks. The gentle sounds of the village lowing rustling, the occasional cough or greeting compose a subdued symphony that accompanies your movements. Breakfast is a quiet affair, often shared with family or neighbors in moments of brief togetherness. Oat, porridge, bread, and small servings of cheese or salted vegetables provide sustenance. Each bite is deliberate, each sip of water intentional, and the act of eating becomes part of the gentle rhythm of the morning, rather than a hurried necessity. After eating, attention turns to small household chores, sweeping the floor with a rough broom, arranging simple pottery, preparing tools for the day's labor, all performed with steady, mindful attention. The repetition is soothing. Each gesture reinforces a calm awareness of presence. By mid-morning, the village fully stirs. You observe neighbors walking slowly toward fields or market stalls, the faint clatter of wooden wheels, the soft patter of boots along dirt paths. Each movement contributes to the overall rhythm, a quiet pulse that guides the unfolding of the day. Even within the simplicity of these tasks, there is a richness to notice. The way sunlight gradually warms the cottages, the changing hues of the sky as morning deepens, the gentle breeze carrying distant scents of herbs, bread, and soil. Each sensory impression is subtle, not overwhelming, encouraging calm reflection. Through these early hours, you sense the interconnectedness of life, labor, sustenance, community, and the environment. Every motion, every sound, every scent becomes part of a gentle tapestry, grounding the mind in awareness, while simultaneously inviting it to drift, to wander through thought, memory, and imagination. As morning continues, the day stretches ahead, full of rhythm, repetition, and measured attention. You remain mindful of each step, each task, yet there is no rush, only the unfolding of life in its natural, deliberate cadence. The village breathes softly around you, and you, too, move with the same steady, unhurried flow. As morning unfolds fully, you move from the quiet intimacy of the cottage into the fields that surround the village. The earth is firm beneath your feet, sometimes damp with dew, sometimes soft from recent rains. You notice the scent of soil and grass mixing with the faint aroma of livestock nearby, and the subtle warmth of sunlight gradually spreading over the landscape. Your work begins with small tasks, each requiring steady attention. You bend to tend the rows of vegetables, your fingers tracing the ridges of soil and the delicate leaves of emerging plants. The monotony is not dull, but rather a soft, soothing repetition that carries the mind into quiet awareness. Nearby, a plowman guides oxen across the furrows, the animals' steady steps creating a gentle thrum in the earth. You observe the way the harness sits against their backs, the slow swing of the plow through soil, the soft, tactile feedback as the blade carves into the ground. There is a serene, almost hypnotic quality in these repeated motions, a quiet partnership between human and nature. Tasks are interspersed with observation. You notice the subtle changes in the landscape, the angle of sunlight filtering through leaves, the faint rustle of small creatures in the underbrush, the gentle sway of grasses in the breeze. The senses remain attuned to these quiet details, each one adding depth to the experience of labor. Mid-morning brings the tending of animals. Goats and sheep require careful attention, feeding, brushing, checking for signs of discomfort or illness. Your hands trace their coats, feel the subtle differences in weight and warmth, and adjust the hay and water accordingly. Even repetitive actions, such as mending a fence or cleaning a stall, carry a rhythmic, calming quality, emphasizing continuity and steady care. The labor is hard, yet measured. You move slowly, pacing yourself according to the day's light and temperature. Sunlight warms your back, the breeze cools your face, and the earthy scent of soil clings gently to your hands and clothing. Awareness of these subtle sensations grounds your mind, creating a reflective, almost meditative state. Afternoon brings additional agricultural tasks, inspecting crops for pests, adjusting irrigation channels, harvesting early vegetables, and preparing storage containers. Each step involves observation, delicate adjustments, and methodical execution. The field, alive with textures, sounds, and muted colors, becomes a sanctuary of steady work and quiet attention. Occasionally, you pause to rest, observing the broader landscape. Distant hills shimmer with heat, birds move lazily through the air, and small animals rustle through undergrowth. These moments of stillness provide a counterpoint to the labor, allowing the mind to wander gently, noticing connections between work, environment, and the passage of time. As afternoon wanes, the tasks of the day start to converge. Tools are cleaned and stored, animals are tended once more, and harvested crops are arranged carefully for transport. or storage. Each action is performed with care and attention, maintaining a rhythm of work and reflection that balances effort with calm observation. By evening, the fields are quiet again. The labor has been steady, immersive, and grounding. Your body is aware of movement, of repetitive tasks, of interaction with the natural world. Your mind, attuned to the subtle patterns and rhythms, feels a gentle, pervasive calm, preparing you to return to the village with awareness, intact, ready to observe the softer rhythms of communal life rituals and reflection as the day transitions toward dusk. As the season progresses, the rhythm of village life is punctuated by festivals, market days, and communal gatherings. Imagine yourself walking along familiar dirt paths toward the village center, where the air is tinged with the mingling scents of baked bread, dried herbs, and the faint, warm aroma of smoke rising from hearths. On market days, villagers gather slowly, bringing goods from surrounding farms, baskets of vegetables, small bundles of herbs, homemade cheeses, and simple crafts. The soundscape is gentle yet varied, the soft shuffle of feet on dirt, the occasional murmur of conversation, the subtle creak of wagon wheels over ruts. Each interaction is calm and measured. Barter is performed slowly, each trade accompanied by deliberate gestures and polite acknowledgement. You observe the nuances of these exchanges, the careful weighing of produce on small balances, the texture of coins exchanged in quiet hands, the soft rustle of fabric and paper as goods change ownership. Each detail, though modest, carries a rhythm that is comforting and grounding, a steady flow of social life without haste or chaos. Festivals, when they occur, bring a different kind of quiet excitement. The village assembles in the open square or near the church, where small altars or communal spaces are prepared. You notice the decorations, garlands of local flowers, simple banners painted by children, arrangements of herbs and grains. The air is filled with soft sounds, the distant beat of a drum, the gentle chime of a bell, murmurs of prayer, and low laughter shared among neighbors. Participation in a festival is gentle, almost ritualistic. You may watch traditional dances performed slowly, hear the recitation of stories or songs that celebrate local history, or join in minor ceremonial tasks such as arranging flowers or preparing food. The sensory details, the scent of candles or incense, the texture of coarse cloth worn for the occasion, the warmth of sun on skin immerse you in a calm, reflective state. Evening at the market or festival is quieter. Stalls are packed away, decorations removed or left to weather naturally, and villagers begin their measured journey home. The setting sun casts long shadows, turning the village buildings into gentle silhouettes. Your steps are slow, mindful, and unhurried. The day's social interactions leaving a subtle impression of communal connection without overstimulation. Throughout these communal experiences, you sense the understated cohesion of the village. Every gesture, every exchange, every gentle sound contributes to a shared rhythm of life. These occasions, though simple, provide a serene sense of belonging, a quiet acknowledgement of relationships and patterns that have persisted across generations. As night approaches, you reflect on the day's social engagements, the measured bustle of the market, the gentle movements of festival participants, and the soft hum of conversation that filled open spaces. These memories, recalled slowly, carry a soothing quality, preparing your mind for the transition into evening rituals, reflection, and rest. As the sun begins its slow descent, you find yourself drawn toward the quiet spaces of contemplation and devotion. Perhaps a small chapel or the village's simple communal altar stands nearby, its wooden beams worn smooth by generations of hands. The air carries a faint scent of candles, herbs, and aged wood, a subtle invitation to slow your thoughts and center your attention. You approach the space with measured steps, noticing the gentle creak of floorboards and the soft echo of your movements in the still air. Light filters through small, colored glass or simple openings, casting muted patterns across the walls and floor. The effect is calming, almost hypnotic, as shadows stretch and shift with the waning sun. Here, you engage in the rituals that mark the spiritual rhythm of the village. Perhaps you kneel quietly, hands folded, or light a small candle, observing the soft flicker as it dances against the wall. Each gesture is deliberate, slow, and filled with intention. There is no rush, no demand for performance, only the gentle, steady practice of awareness and reflection. During these moments, you may listen to the subtle hum of prayers or chants, the distant tolling of a bell, or the quiet murmur of fellow villagers, also seeking a moment of calm. Each sound, soft and measured, enhances the sense of serenity and fosters a slow, rhythmic flow in the mind. After rituals, attention turns inward. You reflect on the day's labors, the simple joys and small trials, the patterns of work, social engagement, and observation that have unfolded. Thoughts drift gently, flowing from one memory to another, tracing the rhythm of the day without urgency or tension. The process is meditative, a quiet weaving of experience into awareness. Outside, the evening air is cooler, carrying the faint sense of earth and foliage. You feel the subtle changes of the day, shadows lengthening, temperatures softening, and the landscape shifting toward quiet stillness. This awareness reinforces a sense of continuity and calm, linking personal reflection with the gentle patterns of life in the village. In these moments, you also notice the subtle passage of time in nature, the slow movement of clouds across the sky, the soft rustle of leaves, the occasional distant call of an animal. Each detail invites attention without urgency, encouraging the mind to settle into observation, gentle awareness, and tranquility. By the end of this period of reflection, a deep sense of calm pervades your being. You are aware of the interconnectedness of labor, community, ritual, and the natural world. The day, though simple, has been rich with subtle textures, patterns, and sensory impressions. You feel anchored in the rhythm of life, gently prepared for the transition into the quiet of evening, domestic tasks, and the restorative rest of night. As the day winds down, the village settles into a quieter rhythm. Shadows lengthen and the air cools, carrying the faint sense of damp earth, hay, and lingering smoke from hearths. You notice how the environment subtly changes with the seasons, the crisp chill of early autumn, the soft dampness of spring rains, the warm, dry air of summer, or the icy stillness of winter nights. During winter months, you navigate shorter daylight and colder temperatures. Tasks that were once simple require extra attention, gathering firewood, tending to animals indoors, and ensuring food stores are adequate. Spring arrives with its own rhythm. The earth softens, and life returns to the fields and pastures. Noticing the fresh scent of growth and the gentle hum of insects returning, planting and tending crops now requires attention to both weather and soil. yet each action is steady, meditative, and mindful. The repetitive nature of these tasks encourages awareness of the present, blending physical labor with reflective thought. Sunlight lingers, casting soft, golden light across fields and cottages. You feel the sun on your skin, hear the subtle movements of leaves and grasses, and smell the rich, dry earth. Tasks such as weeding, harvesting early vegetables, and maintaining tools are performed with a steady hand, each motion deliberate, rhythmical, and almost soothing in its predictability. As evening falls, attention turns back to the home. Animals are fed and secured, tools are cleaned and stored, and harvested food is prepared or preserved. The village itself seems to exhale, with quiet doors closing, chimneys sending smoke spiraling upwards, and the distant sound of water dripping or animals settling in their stalls. Before sleep, a period of reflection or storytelling may occur. Perhaps you sit by the hearth, feeling its gentle warmth, recalling the day's labor, observing the interplay of light and shadow, or listening to soft, rhythmic conversations. Each element reinforces a sense of calm, continuity, and subtle wonder. Finally, you prepare for rest, lying on straw-filled bedding, wrapped in simple cloths. You feel the gentle firmness of the mattress beneath you and the residual warmth from the day. The sense of straw, wood, and hearth smoke mingle with the cool night air entering through small openings, creating a soothing environment for sleep. Outside, the village is quiet, save for the occasional lowing of animals or distant murmur of water. The moon rises, casting soft silver light across rooftops and fields. Challenges met and life lived in measured, mindful cadence. Imagine yourself stepping back into the medieval world, yet now your attention shifts from the village fields to the life of a single individual whose choices and circumstances shaped a small corner of history. Our focus is a village blacksmith, an ordinary yet pivotal figure whose daily work, relationships, and quiet struggles offer insight into the rhythms and pressures of medieval life. You observe him in the soft light of dawn, entering his modest forge. The air is thick with the scent of heated metal and coal, muted by the gentle morning breeze that drifts through the open door. Each motion is deliberate, picking up tongs, adjusting the bellows, preparing the iron for shaping. His hands, calloused and steady, move with familiarity, tracing patterns and exerting care, turning raw material into tools essential for the community. Through him, you sense the weight of responsibility, not for kingdoms or armies, but for the practical needs of those around him. Farmers, neighbors, and tradespeople depend on his work to maintain daily life. The rhythm of hammering, the steady beat of iron against anvil, and the faint hiss of steam from quenched metal form a gentle auditory backdrop that mirrors the repetition and meditation of labor you witnessed in the village fields. Outside the forge, the village functions with its own slow cadence. The blacksmith's life is intertwined with festivals, harvests, and seasonal shifts. You notice how his role extends beyond craft, advising on repairs, mentoring younger apprentices, and maintaining relationships with those who rely upon his skills. Every decision, though small, carries significance, shaping the everyday realities of his community. Each day brings the need for patience and precision, for one misstep could render a tool unusable or create frustration for the farmer or carpenter awaiting his work. The weight of responsibility is subtle, yet constant, woven into every swing of the hammer and every measured step around the forge. The repetitive rhythm of hammering is meditative, but it also demands full attention. A wandering thought could lead to mistake, and mistakes carry consequences. Beyond the physical demands, there are social pressures. Villagers come seeking repairs or custom tools, each with their own expectations and gentle urgency. The blacksmith listens patiently, weighs requests, and plans his work in a measured sequence. Negotiating these demands requires a quiet diplomacy, a soft, steady voice, and an awareness of each person's need. The seasons impose further trials. Winter cold stiffens his hands and chills the forge despite the fire's warmth. Summer heat presses down, making the air thick with smoke and scent of molten metal. Rain can slow deliveries and affect the materials, requiring improvisation and problem-solving. Each day he adapts, moving with the environment and the needs of the village, maintaining a steady rhythm despite minor hardships. You observe moments of personal reflection as he pauses between tasks. The forge becomes a space for both labor and thought, a place to weigh decisions, anticipate upcoming work, and quietly acknowledge small victories, successful repairs, satisfied neighbors, and the smooth completion of a difficult task. These achievements, though modest, provide satisfaction and a subtle sense of purpose. Evening approaches with its own gentle challenges. Tools must be cleaned, fire safely managed, and apprentices guided. There is care in arranging the workbench, sweeping the floor, and ensuring materials are properly stored. These tasks, repetitive yet essential, create a calm cadence, intertwining labor with mindfulness. Through all these trials, the blacksmith exemplifies the quiet endurance of ordinary people in medieval life. Each struggle is not dramatic or sensational, but persistent and meaningful, forming the backbone of community life. Observing him, you sense the depth of ordinary existence, the steady rhythm of responsibility, and the quiet dignity found in patience, skill, and adaptability. By nightfall, he sits near the hearth of his modest home, the forge quiet for the day. The accumulated strain of labor eases as warmth and reflection envelop him. Thoughts drift slowly, considering the day's tasks, the challenges met, and the subtle lessons learned. Here, in this calm, measured space, the ordinary life of a blacksmith reveals itself as both demanding and quietly profound, a reflection of human resilience and thoughtful presence in a world shaped by slow, steady routines. As the day unfolds, not all moments follow a predictable rhythm. Occasionally, small, unexpected events arise in the village, an ox straying from its pen, a fence collapsing, or a neighbor arriving with a tool in urgent need of repair. These moments are rarely dramatic in a cinematic sense. Rather, they are gentle disturbances that invite attentiveness and adaptability. You observe the blacksmith's calm response. He sets aside a partially finished piece, wipes his hands on a well-worn cloth, and walks steadily toward the source of the disturbance. His movements are deliberate, measured, and thoughtful, reflecting both skill and an awareness of responsibility. There is no rush, only careful consideration of each step. Interactions with villagers unfold in a soft, methodical cadence. Children may peek curiously into the forge, their small hands tracing the patterns of metal on the anvil, and elders share quiet advice or recount minor incidents from the day. Each conversation carries a gentle rhythm, words chosen carefully, pauses respected, a subtle interplay of listening and speaking. Even when the unexpected occurs, the village itself provides structure. Tools are laid out for ease of access, workspaces are organized, and routines are flexible enough to absorb minor disruptions. The blacksmith moves through these interruptions with mindfulness, attending to immediate needs without haste or agitation. Occasionally, a visiting merchant arrives, bringing new materials, small luxuries, or exotic items that contrast with the village's usual simplicity. These visits are rare and slow-paced, giving the blacksmith and villagers time to examine, discuss, and understand what has been brought. The exchange is calm, almost ceremonious, with attention paid to textures, weight, and quality of each item, rather than any sense of urgency. Throughout the day, these small events are woven into the ongoing rhythm of life. There is no panic, no heightened drama, only the gentle flow of activity, subtly adjusted to accommodate the new circumstances. Observation of these interactions reveals a village held together by patience, cooperation, and a shared understanding of how to respond to life's minor unpredictabilities. As afternoon wanes, the unexpected fades into reflection. Tasks are resumed, tools returned to their proper places, and any minor repairs or adjustments are methodically completed. You notice the calm repetition of gestures, the careful swing of the hammer, the arrangement of materials, the rhythmic pace of footsteps. Even disruptions contribute to a meditative awareness, reinforcing the quiet beauty of daily life. By evening, the blacksmith returns to his routine of reflection and planning for the next day. He recounts the small incidents internally, considering how each could be prevented or improved. The rhythm of adaptation and attentiveness continues, quietly shaping the flow of life in the village, demonstrating that even unexpected events, when approached with calm and care, can blend seamlessly into the steady, measured cadence of existence. As the day progresses and tasks are steadily completed, attention turns to the quieter, more enduring aspects of the blacksmith's life, mentorship and legacy. Imagine yourself standing in the forge, the warmth from the hearth diffusing softly through the space. As a young apprentice watches closely, the apprentice's movements are careful, tentative, yet full of curiosity, mirroring the slow rhythm of the forge itself. The blacksmith demonstrates techniques gently, adjusting the apprentice's hands on the tools with deliberate care. Each motion is slow, thoughtful, and precise, hammering, bending, shaping, and quenching. The apprentice mimics these movements, each repetition a lesson in patience, precision, and observation. There is a calming, almost hypnotic quality to the shared rhythm, the steady cadence of repeated action offering both instruction and subtle meditation. You notice the soft, almost unspoken communication that passes between master and apprentice. A nod, a careful adjustment, or a quiet word conveys correction and guidance without pressure or urgency. The air is filled with the gentle hum of activity, the hiss of cooling metal, the muted clang of hammer against anvil, the rhythmic whoosh of bellows. This soundscape reinforces calm, attentiveness, and sustained focus. Throughout the day, the blacksmith imparts more than technical skill. He shares knowledge of materials, advice on problem solving, and reflections on the subtle social interactions that accompany trade. Each lesson is delivered slowly, allowing the apprentice to absorb not only technique, but also the contemplative rhythm of craft itself. Legacy is woven into these moments, The blacksmith reflects on the continuity of his work, the subtle impact on his community, and the ways in which skill, patience, and careful attention ripple beyond a single day. Each tool, repaired or newly fashioned, each small piece of guidance, and each patient gesture contributes to a quiet, enduring influence. By evening, the apprentice has internalized small but significant lessons, and the forge is gently cleared. Tools are stored methodically, the fire dampened for the night, and the space is prepared to receive another day's work. Observation of this process highlights the calm beauty of continuity, teaching, and thoughtful preparation. Finally, the blacksmith reflects in solitude. Seated near the hearth, he considers the subtle patterns of his life, the labor, the interactions, the minor triumphs and setbacks, and the knowledge imparted to another. In these moments, you sense the gentle satisfaction of legacy, a quiet reassurance that ordinary lives, when lived with care and intention, leave enduring traces in both community and craft. As dusk settles over the village, the blacksmith completes the final tasks of the day with a measured, deliberate pace. The forge grows quiet, the last embers glow faintly, their warmth seeping gently into the surrounding space. You feel the calm transition from labor to reflection, a shift as natural as the descending sun. He carefully cleans tools, wiping each with attention to detail, ensuring that every hammer, tongs, and chisel is ready for the next day. The rhythmic motion is soothing, the gentle scraping of metal, the soft rustle of cloth, the occasional hiss as a tool is lightly heated and oiled. Each movement is unhurried, deliberate, and full of quiet satisfaction. Once the forge is prepared for the night, the blacksmith steps outside. The village is calm, the evening air cool against his skin, carrying faint scents of wood smoke, damp earth, and lingering warmth from the day. He walks slowly along familiar paths, observing the subtle changes brought by twilight. Long shadows stretching across fields, the muted chorus of animals settling for the night, the soft flicker of lamplight from distant cottages. In solitude, he reflects on the day. He recalls the tools crafted, the minor problems solved, the guidance offered to apprentices, and the moments of connection with villagers. Each memory flows gently, unhurried, forming a tapestry of ordinary yet meaningful experiences. There is no urgency, no heightened drama, only the quiet acknowledgement of effort, care, and presence. You sense the calming power of these reflections. Each thought drifts slowly, like smoke rising from the forge, settling gradually in the mind. The small successes, the careful navigation of challenges, and the mindful participation in community life form a soothing pattern that encourages deep relaxation. Finally, he prepares for rest. Entering his modest home, he tends to simple domestic rituals, arranging bedding, extinguishing lamps, and ensuring warmth for the night. Each action is deliberate, meditative, and serene. As he lies down, the soft scent of straw, smoke, and wood envelops him, and his thoughts settle into a gentle rhythm. Outside, the village sleeps. The air is still, the stars faintly twinkling, and the soft, nocturnal sounds of nature provide a subtle lullaby. Within this calm, the blacksmith's mind floats gently through the day's experiences, anchored by the continuity of labor, learning, and reflection. The ordinary life, observed in careful detail, offers a profound serenity, quiet preparation for the restorative rest of night. Imagine stepping into a quieter corner of history, where the details are subtle and the intrigue unfolds gently over time. Today, we explore the small yet fascinating mystery of a set of medieval village manuscripts records of daily life, trade, and personal reflections that survived centuries, tucked away in a monastery library. The manuscripts, yellowed with age and carefully preserved, offer a slow, meditative insight into the rhythms of life centuries ago. You imagine yourself opening the soft, delicate pages. The faint scent of old parchment rises gently, mingled with traces of ink and wax seals, each subtle aroma hinting at centuries of careful handling. These documents reveal more than words. They expose patterns of living, seasonal routines, and the quiet struggles of villagers. Even small annotations, tiny corrections, or marginal notes hint at a mind observing the world closely, attentive to detail, and engaged in thoughtful reflection. As you trace the handwritten letters, a gentle sense of connection forms across a quiet, contemplative dialogue between past and present. What remains mysterious is not drama or spectacle, but the subtle context of the lives recorded. Some entries reference people, trades, and events that cannot be cross-verified with other sources, inviting slow, thoughtful speculation. You notice gaps, ambiguities, and curious repetitions, all contributing to a gentle, unfolding puzzle. Outside the manuscripts themselves, the surrounding monastery library is equally tranquil. Rows of wooden shelves, beams worn smooth by centuries of touch, and the quiet echo of footsteps or turning pages create a calming atmosphere. Light filters softly through narrow windows, casting long muted patterns on the floor, reinforcing the sense of patient observation and reflection. As you continue through the monastery library, your attention turns from the manuscripts to the tangible artifacts preserved alongside them. Simple tools, fragments of pottery, fragments of textiles, and remnants of household objects. Each item offers a quiet window into the day-to-day existence of villagers centuries ago. Imagine yourself holding a small, worn wooden comb, its teeth slightly uneven from long use. The texture is smooth from repeated handling, worn down by countless fingers over time. You sense the care that went into making it, the rhythms of grooming and personal maintenance, and the subtle gestures of routine that accompanied daily life. Each artifact carries traces of human touch and intention, whispering stories that are unhurried, modest, yet deeply revealing. Nearby, small cooking utensils, ceramic bowls, wooden spoons, and rudimentary pots provide insight into the preparation of meals. You trace the faint burn marks on the bottom of a pot, imagining the slow cooking of grains or stews over an open hearth. The aromas that once filled the kitchens, though now absent, are suggested in the careful design and enduring wear of these objects. Each detail forms a quiet narrative of sustenance, adaptation, and continuity. Textile fragments reveal patterns of clothing, modest yet practical, suited to seasonal changes and labor. The weave and texture invite gentle observation. How materials were chosen for warmth, durability, or ease of movement. How garments were patched, repaired, and preserved. And how attire subtly marked social roles within the community. The act of maintaining clothing, though simple, required attention, skill, and patience. Through these artifacts, you gain a sense of the villager's sensory world, the weight of objects, the smoothness of worn surfaces, the faint scent of earth or smoke clinging to materials. Even the smallest item carries traces of human decision, effort, and continuity, quietly conveying the cadence of life. Exploring the artifacts alongside the manuscripts, you begin to see the contours of a comprehensive yet understated portrait. Daily life was neither hurried nor chaotic. It was guided by repetition, attentiveness, and the slow unfolding of human experience. The mysteries contained within these objects are subtle. The precise context of some items, the identities of their makers, or the stories they silently witnessed. Yet the gentle exploration of these remnants offers a profound sense of connection, reflection, and calm curiosity. As the manuscripts and artifacts suggest, life in the village was punctuated by rituals and festivities, gentle markers of time and community. Imagine yourself walking through the village square as a seasonal festival approaches. The rhythm of preparation is calm yet deliberate. Decorations are hung, fires arranged for cooking, and small offerings or symbols placed thoughtfully in communal spaces. Rituals often revolved around cycles of nature harvests, solstices, and planting seasons. You notice villagers performing repetitive, meditative actions, carrying water to a sacred well, arranging flowers, or lighting candles. Each motion, slow and precise, carries meaning beyond immediate utility. Observing these rituals, you sense a quiet reverence, a connection to patterns that extend beyond individual lives, linking generations and fostering continuity. Festivities, though rare, were occasions for measured celebration rather than boisterous spectacle. Music, soft and steady, fills the air. Flutes, drums, and simple stringed instruments played in gentle harmony. People move slowly, dancing or walking in ceremonial patterns. Smiles, subtle yet present. Food is shared in modest quantities. Breads, stews, and seasonal fruits prepared carefully over open hearths. Each act, though simple, reinforces bonds of cooperation and shared identity. These cultural moments also offer insight into social structures. Roles are clearly defined, but practiced with attention and respect. Elders lead processions or ceremonies. Apprentices carry offerings or assist with arrangements, and villagers participate according to ability and tradition. The flow of these activities is calm, measured, and deliberate, offering a soothing sense of order and purpose. Even minor festivals reveal the interplay between daily life and symbolic meaning. The quiet attention given to details, arrangement of tools for ceremonies, preparation of foods, and choice of attire reflects the broader pattern of village life, careful, considered, and attuned to rhythm. Each festival or ritual becomes a slow, immersive meditation on community, continuity, and human presence. As evening falls on such a day, the rituals conclude with gentle closure. Candles are extinguished, fires left to smolder, and villagers retreat to their homes, carrying with them a sense of calm reflection. The festival, like life itself, is a slow unfolding of human practice, measured and enduring, leaving subtle traces in both memory and material objects. Stepping back from the tangible artifacts and rituals, where scholars and historians examine traces of the past to understand lives long gone. Imagine yourself in a sunlit study, surrounded by stacks of research, maps, and carefully annotated manuscripts. The air is calm, punctuated by the soft scratching of pen on paper and the gentle rustle of pages being turned. Historians examine the medieval manuscripts and artifacts with patience and precision. They measure, catalog, and compare each item: the size of a bowl, the the weave of a textile, the composition of ink on a page. Their observations are methodical, aiming not for sensational discoveries, but for gradual, reasoned understanding. Each conclusion is tempered with care, acknowledging uncertainty, gaps, and the subtle nuances of interpretation. Through their work, broader patterns emerge. The repetition of certain chores, the presence of small tools, and the ritual notes in manuscripts reveal the daily rhythm and priorities of village life. Scholars note the variations in regional practices, differences in material culture, and the subtle social structures reflected in these objects. You sense a gentle unfolding of insight, each observation building slowly upon the last, like pieces of a quiet puzzle. Some interpretations remain speculative, inviting contemplative curiosity rather than excitement. Why was a particular tool placed beside a manuscript? What does the pattern of repaired clothing suggest about resource management and domestic skill? These questions linger softly, without urgency, allowing the mind to wander and reflect gently. You notice how scholarly perspectives also highlight the interconnectedness of human experience. Trade routes, seasonal festivals, and shared techniques form a web of subtle relationships across villages and regions. The past, when approached patiently and calmly, emerges not as a chaotic narrative of events, but as a layered, meditative landscape of human life. Finally, you perceive the harmony between direct evidence and interpretation. Artifacts, manuscripts, and rituals tell quiet stories on their own, while scholarly analysis provides gentle guidance, suggesting connections and possibilities. Observing this process, you appreciate both the rhythm of daily life and the contemplative patience required to uncover meaning from fragments. It is a slow, immersive journey into understanding perfectly suited for reflection and calm meditation. As the day in our exploration of village life and artifacts winds down, you pause to reflect on the quiet insights gleaned from manuscripts, tools, and rituals. Imagine yourself seated in the soft glow of a late afternoon, the gentle warmth of sunlight filtering through a small window, casting long, muted shadows across the surfaces of old books and wooden objects. Each object and document carries a whisper of human intention. You sense the careful consideration that went into crafting a tool, the measured repetition in rituals, and the meticulous recording of mundane events. These traces reveal the subtle rhythms of existence, the balance between labor and rest, the interplay of skill and observation, and the quiet interdependence among community members. From the manuscripts, you glean the villagers' focus on routine and order. Even minor details, such as notes about weather or crop conditions, speak to attentiveness and foresight. From artifacts, you perceive the hands that held them, the small adjustments made over time, and the gentle care extended to objects that shaped daily life. Rituals and festivals provide insight into shared values and continuity. Their measured pace, ceremonial structure, and subtle attention to detail reveal a culture that treasures order, mindfulness, and communal reflection. These practices are neither ostentatious nor hurried. They are meditative, reinforcing a calm awareness of life's recurring cycles. As you connect these observations, a quiet pattern emerges. History is not always about extraordinary events, grand battles, or dramatic upheavals. Often, its richness lies in the small, enduring choices of ordinary people, the ways they worked, observed, celebrated, and cared for one another. Each subtle action contributes to a continuous, unbroken rhythm of human experience. Finally, you consider your own place in this continuum. The attentive observation of past lives encourages a mindful presence in the present. The calm patience of a medieval village, the careful crafting of tools, and the ritualized cadence of celebrations all suggest lessons in attention, care, and reflection. By witnessing these histories, you are invited to slow your own rhythm, to appreciate ordinary moments, and to find quiet depth in the repetition and patterns of life. With this reflective understanding, the exploration of village life, artifacts, and rituals concludes gently. You are left with a sense of calm continuity, a soft connection across time, and a tranquil awareness of the subtle lessons that history imparts, a serene foundation upon which both reflection and rest may grow. Now, let us turn our attention to a different layer of the same society, a household that occupies a higher social stratum. Imagine walking through the large wooden doors of a manor house, where spaces are arranged with deliberate order and objects chosen with careful consideration. The air is subtly different, here warmer, infused with faint scents of polished wood, herbs, and candle wax. The household's daily rhythm is slower and more measured than that of the village. Tasks are distributed among servants, artisans, and attendants, each performing specialized duties with attention and calm efficiency. You notice the quiet coordination required to maintain order. Silverware arranged meticulously, fabrics folded with care, and rooms swept and aired with patient attention. Even the elite family moves with a sense of purpose, tempered by leisure. Gentle walks through well-tended gardens, slow pacing along corridors lined with tapestries, and deliberate pauses at windows to observe the surrounding landscape all convey a measured, reflective existence. The contrast with the village is apparent, yet not jarring. The pace here is one of gentle privilege rather than frantic indulgence. Every object in the household tells a subtle story: the smooth polish of a wooden table, the faint sheen of copper utensils, the delicate texture of linens. These items, like the tools and artifacts of village life, bear traces of human care and decision-making. The difference lies in the resources available and the refined attention to comfort rather than survival. Visitors to the manor are greeted with quiet hospitality. The exchange is calm, deliberate, with attention paid to details, seating arrangements, lighting, and the careful offering of refreshments. Conversations unfold slowly, emphasizing observation, measured responses, and subtle social cues. This environment fosters reflection, awareness, and a gentle engagement with the rhythms of elite life. The elite household, though materially richer, shares a common thread with the village. Life is structured, attentive, and guided by repetition. The activities here, though less physically demanding, require mindfulness, coordination, and a steady, unhurried attention to daily patterns. As the morning sun gently illuminates the manor, the household awakens to a carefully orchestrated routine. Servants move with quiet precision, attending to domestic needs, drawing water, lighting hearths, and preparing simple meals. Each task is executed with deliberate calm, ensuring that the environment remains orderly and harmonious. Imagine yourself observing the household's members as they begin their day. Clothing is chosen thoughtfully, reflecting both practicality and subtle social signaling. Hands smooth over fabrics, buttons are fastened methodically, and hairstyles are arranged with care. Even these seemingly minor actions are carried out with a measured rhythm, emphasizing mindfulness and attention to detail. While some members of the household attend to administrative matters, accounts, and correspondence, others engage in structured leisure, gentle walks through private gardens, quiet reading in sunlit rooms, or contemplative time by small fountains, all exemplify a slow, reflective pace. Leisure is not idle, it is purposeful, enhancing mental clarity and providing restorative balance. Meals follow a predictable .com cadence. Ingredients are sourced from both the estate and local markets, prepared with skill and served with an emphasis on presentation and moderation. The sounds are subdued: the clink of utensils, the faint hiss of cooking, the soft murmur of conversation, creating a serene, almost meditative atmosphere. Throughout the day, subtle social rituals reinforce hierarchy and order. Courteous greetings, attentiveness to protocol, and measured responses in conversation cultivate calm interaction and thoughtful presence. Unlike the village, where labor is direct and tactile, the elite life emphasizes observation, coordination, and the gentle management of time and resources. By mid-afternoon, the household achieves a balanced rhythm. Work flows into leisure seamlessly, and leisure informs reflection. Each action, from tending to daily responsibilities to enjoying structured pastimes, contributes to a slow, immersive sense of life's pattern. The experience is soothing, deliberate, and richly textured, offering insight into a contrasting yet interconnected social reality. Within the manor, the rhythm of life depends on a quiet, coordinated network of people performing their roles with care and precision. Imagine yourself observing a scene in the great hall where servants and artisans move with deliberate calm, attending to their duties while maintaining a respectful attentiveness to the household members. Each interaction is measured and courteous. A servant presents a tray of fresh bread with soft words of greeting. An artisan adjusts a chair or tapestry, ensuring that both comfort and aesthetics are maintained. The movements are graceful and unhurried, with each individual aware of their responsibilities and the subtle social order in which they operate. Conversations are soft and purposeful. Instructions are given clearly but gently. Questions are asked and answered with patience. And guidance is provided without urgency or frustration. You sense the trust and familiarity that develops over repeated days of shared routine, a silent understanding of roles, capabilities, and expectations. Artisans, such as carpenters or metalworkers, are present within or near the manor, attending to repairs, crafting objects, or maintaining tools. Their work is deliberate, rhythmic, and often accompanied by quiet murmurs or the soft sounds of measured hammering, sawing, or sanding. These sounds, far from intrusive, form a steady background, reinforcing the calm, ordered atmosphere. The household members themselves participate in these interactions with a sense of gentle oversight rather than command, observing the work, offering guidance, or quietly appreciating skill and effort. They maintain a balance of authority, respect, and attentive presence. The flow of the day relies on cooperation, awareness, and shared rhythm, all unfolding without haste or tension. Through these observations, you perceive the subtle dynamics that sustain elite life. Privilege is not chaos, but structured. Authority is not oppression, but a careful orchestration of effort and attention. The interactions among household members, servants, and artisans create a tapestry of quiet interdependence. where every small action contributes to the overall harmony and rhythm of the manor. As the sun dips lower in the sky, the manor prepares for a formal gathering, a celebration that unfolds slowly and deliberately. Imagine yourself entering a softly lit hall, the air carrying a subtle mix of polished wood, candle wax, and faint floral aromas from carefully arranged decorations. The gathering is measured in pace and structure. Guests arrive quietly, exchanging polite greetings and gentle nods. Conversations are low and deliberate, focusing on shared interests, observations of the estate, or reflections on recent events. Laughter, when it arises, is soft, not raucous, contributing to the calm, reflective atmosphere. Music flows gently through the space, played on harps, lutes, or flutes. Notes are carefully measured, weaving a tranquil auditory tapestry that complements the visual elegance of the hall. Attendees move with deliberate grace, walking slowly along tapestried corridors or lingering by windows to observe the fading light over manicured gardens. Food is served with careful attention. Platters of bread, fruits, cheeses, and roasted meats are arranged methodically, each item placed with aesthetic consideration. Guests partake in meals slowly, appreciating taste, texture, and presentation. Every motion, from pouring wine to passing a dish, is executed with a quiet mindfulness that enhances the serene flow of the gathering. Rituals and protocol are subtle but present. Seating arrangements, the order of toasts, and the flow of conversation follow a gentle structure, reinforcing social bonds and shared respect. The experience is immersive yet unhurried, creating a sense of quiet reflection rather than excitement or competition. Through these celebrations and gatherings, you observe the delicate balance of leisure, social order, and attentive presence. Life among the elite is a study in measured grace, where even festivities are slow, deliberate, and contemplative, offering a calm contrast to the rhythmic labor and simplicity of village life. Each action, sound, and visual detail contributes to a coherent, soothing narrative of privilege conducted with patience and mindfulness. As the evening settles over the manor, you take a quiet moment to reflect on the lives you have observed within these walls. Imagine yourself seated in a softly lit room, the flicker of candlelight casting gentle shadows on tapestries and polished furniture. The rhythm of the day lingers in your mind, a slow, deliberate cadence that has guided every action from chores to celebrations. The elite household, with its servants, artisans, and measured social interactions, demonstrates a life structured by attention, care, and awareness. Daily responsibilities are performed with precision. Leisure is deliberate and restorative, and gatherings unfold with thoughtful decorum. You sense that privilege here is inseparable from discipline, observation, and patient management of resources. Reflecting on these contrasts with village life, you notice how different circumstances shape human experience. While villagers navigated labor, sustenance, and survival, the elite navigated coordination, etiquette, and cultivated leisure. Both, however, share underlying rhythms, repetition, careful attention, and an awareness of time passing in predictable, soothing cycles. There are subtle lessons to glean. The elite life teaches patience, the quiet value of structured routines, and the mindful appreciation of effort, whether one's own or another's. You perceive the interdependence that sustains these households, the invisible threads connecting labor, skill, and social harmony. Even in comfort, life requires attentiveness, care, and a gentle acknowledgement of the passage of hours and seasons. As night deepens, the manor quiets, and the day's rhythms fade into a serene calm. You leave with a reflective awareness. History is not only in grand events or dramatic upheavals, but also in the soft, continuous patterns of everyday existence. Observing both village and elite life offers a full spectrum of human experience, revealing quiet depth, measured rhythm, and subtle lessons in presence and care. With this reflective understanding, the exploration of social and elite life concludes, leaving a tranquil sense of continuity and gentle insight, a calm foundation for contemplation and rest. As we come to the end of our historical journey, imagine yourself reclining in a comfortable space, the day's explorations softly settling around you. You have walked through the rhythms of village life, felt the struggles and small triumphs of ordinary people, and observed the deliberate, measured routines of the elite. You have traced the patterns of work, ritual, leisure, and reflection, moving gently through centuries of human experience. Consider the subtle lessons these lives offer. In the villages, life was guided by routine, repetition, and attentiveness to survival and community. In the manors, the rhythm was slower, enriched by resources and deliberate leisure, yet still reliant on discipline, mindfulness, and cooperation. Across all classes, life was a continuous flow of small actions, each contributing to the broader pattern of human existence. You may find yourself reflecting on these patterns, noticing how they echo in your own daily life, the repetition of small tasks, the gentle unfolding of routines, and the quiet moments of observation and care. History, in its calm and steady unfolding, offers not excitement or drama, but the soothing rhythm of continuity and human presence. Let the thoughts of these past lives fade gently, like shadows at dusk, leaving a sense of calm awareness. Imagine the soft sounds of a village at rest, the faint flicker of candlelight in a manor, the quiet murmur of a festival long ended, and the gentle hush of a world winding down. Allow yourself to drift with this calm, the steady cadence of centuries of human experience guiding your mind into relaxation. Breathe deeply, slowly, and feel the weight of the day lifting. The past is behind you, and yet its gentle rhythm remains a lullaby of history, carrying you softly toward sleep. Rest now in this quiet reflection, surrounded by the measured, enduring presence of human life. Sleep comes easily, guided by the soft, continuous flow of stories, routines, and the quiet, unwavering patterns of those who came before.